Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to the Psychic Coffee Shop. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Aeson, and with me tonight, as if you can smell it through the air, because she always brings it with her, is that hazelnut latte, is Miss Sophia Light. How are you, honey?
I am good, and I have got my hazelnut cappy right beside me, so now I am just perfect.
Exactly. Wonderful, honey. How's your week
How
been?
are you?
Oh, I'm just evilly tempted to take over the world, but you know, as normal, it would just be too much.
Well, I'll join you. We can be Ren and Stimpy. Is that who's trying to take over the world?
No, it's Pinky in the Brain.
Pinky in the Brain. Okay, I'm getting my cartoons mixed up. It's been a long time since I watched cartoons.
I'm going to have to send you back to make you watch the good ones, back when there were really good cartoons there.
I love that cartoon. But I want to be Pinky. I don't want to be the Brain. You can be the Brain.
Not a problem, honey. I enjoy being the Brain. I get classified as the Brain all the time, so that ain't no problem. Well, we have a guest joining us tonight. Let me get her on the line. And Sophia, you tell us a little bit about her.
Okay. Well, we have Sonia Nadina Haynes. I think that's how you pronounce it. She's intuitive, a life coach, teacher specialized in emotional healing. She believes that returning to her inner child and helping it find its voice will be important in emotional healing. You're not born into your life to learn. In fact, you're here to experience. Paying attention to everything that occurs in your life will put you on a fast track to spiritual mastery. She lives in Eastern Ontario, Canada. Hello, Sonia.
Hello, love. How are you?
I'm good, honey. How are you? Great to have you here.
Thank you. I'm fantastic. I'm smiling from ear to ear. It's great being on the show. Hi, Aeson.
Hi, darling. How are you? I'm so glad to have you join us at the table tonight. Now, you're also, it's not included in your bio, you're a psychic over at psychic.biz, and you offer live coaching through that. Well, you know, Sonia, a few things hit our news line this week, and, you know, our normal part is hot topics, so please share your opinion on these. The first one is this California homeless guy. He's actually going to get $100,000 for helping catch some fugitives that were escaping. He's getting the larger share of the reward because he was directly able to help with this. I think it's a great thing. I also think that, you know, just as while rewards were offered. You know, it ain't just, you know, $5-10. It was a very large reward, but these captors are back underneath it.
Yeah.
What's your thought?
Well, sorry, go on, love.
Oh, I was just going to say that it was shared between 3 other people. Was it 3 other people that I read?
It was a total of 4 people. So, yeah, 3 other people that got smaller amounts because of their involvement.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's a great idea to you know, to give a reward in that way. The guy's picture is on there, and you can see he's gone through hard times, and just to have that little bit of return for something that he's done, as opposed to, he's probably a good Samaritan anyway, and got kicked around because he's a good Samaritan. You know what I mean? And now there's something really positive coming to him for being kind. So I think that's wonderful.
Right, and I think it's not only is it wonderful, but I think it's great because a lot of times, the police themselves can't get leads. No one wants to get involved, and here this guy is. He just wants to. He was just, giving what he saw and wasn't really looking for anything, and he's actually going to get something that's going to, I say, change his life, very much so.
Yes,
yeah.
It's wonderful. It's in San Francisco, which I was there many years ago, a few times. But the first time I went to San Francisco, I encountered quite a few homeless men. And I had my 2 daughters, and they were following us up and down the street, catcalling at my kids, which, they're very cute, which is fine.
Right.
But there was a program many years ago where they actually set a homeless man up and gave him $100,000 in a briefcase. And then they did a show about it, which I thought it was a setup. It was quite unfortunate because he ended up giving all the money away.
Yeah.
Still being a good Samaritan, right?
Exactly.
So hopefully this guy is nicer to himself than giving it all away.
And giving it all away, and not meeting his own basic needs, which I hope that he does. And I think that it's highly important. The other thing that we have technically 3 things that made our hot topics this week. The other one being, a couple shows back we talked about Apple filing and trying to FBI is bringing a case against Apple for not being willing to crack their own encryption system for them.
Mm-hmm.
However, it came into the news today that the FBI is also in the middle of a court case for a guy that cracked iCloud and was able to get a number of access information to celebrities' iPhones and was able to take pictures off of it and everything else. So what I don't get is we've got a criminal that has done this.
Mm-hmm.
And it wouldn't cost the taxpayers anything to, say, hey, all right, we're going to give you a lighter sentence if you will show us how you did it. And then use that information to get into the terrorist's phone. Instead...
I think that's a crock. I think that they could already do it. I just think that they want the other phones. I think that they want something that they can get into those other 125 phones that they want to get into. I mean, come on. The FBI has the best of the best.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why they just can't hack one phone. But this guy has hacked over 100 phones.
Exactly. I mean, he's a pro at it. All he needs to do, and I think it would be beneficial to them, is to go in there and, offer the dude, a benefit like they do every other case, to just do it for him and be done with it if it was one phone.
Yeah, so when you add those other 125 phones, and then you're talking about people's privacies and their rights.
Right. But the whole court case was about just one terrorist phone, is what the court case is swearing now, because they pulled out the other 125, 150 phones. They took those out because the Justice Department wasn't going to be able to get it on that.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. As you said earlier, they need to legitimize their going into people's phones, and if they can get Apple to give them that information, the legitimacy, it's almost like going into a person's house with a warrant. Mm-hmm. So they're literally looking for a warrant, so to speak, from Apple, so they can do it across the board. So it's terrible. It's terrible.
And you're in Canada right now.
Yes.
Are you guys hearing anything about this? Because the United States don't get the best media. We've actually had to go out of country a lot of times to get our media. Is there any discussions about what's going on, or any thoughts coming your way that we might not be hearing?
Well, we heard about the FBI wanting to get this information, and Canadians are very conservative in that, and they don't trust anybody, and if you say FBI, they don't trust. So
Right.
their concept is pretty similar to yours. That the FBI is just trying to get like a backdoor into everyone else's information, because it was reported that they were already following your phone or reading your phones anyway, or your telephone conversations and stuff. So
Right.
this would just give them that. But this guy used phishing scam, which
Right.
means that they send you an email, and then when you answer it, they're able to get into your phone, which, I mean, I used to get phishing things about the bank and all this stuff, and I just deleted it.
Right.
So it's I guess it's just about being smart.
It is, and it's about being watchful, because a lot of times it tends to PayPal's bad about this. I mean, they go after PayPal very much head to toe. So, with PayPal and anything else, please make sure that it addresses you by name. It shouldn't be dear valued customer.
Yes. And the sending email, if it says PayPal, go and check it to see that it's actually PayPal. And PayPal does say to you not to, they never send you anything where you have to click here to get into the email. They never do that. So, anything that comes to you and say, this is going on, click here, disregard it. So, So it's just, it's kind of common sense, but people are using their thumbs so quickly on that you could hit a button without realizing it, right?
Right. You can hit a button. You cannot be looking at it. The new mobile email is a big problem with this, because, there's no way to get around the link half the time other than closing out of the email. And a lot of people don't get that. So, that's very highly, highly, highly important, is to check your sources on your emails. Apple iCloud also does the same thing. They will not, ask you for passwords or anything in email, or click a link here to do this or do that, or to reset. And it's important to, make sure to keep up with that, because a lot of people get lost, in my opinion, in the chatter that goes on with these systems anymore.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, speaking of accounts and online stuff, something else was a little, to me, it's morbid, but at the same time, it's interesting to watch the effect. I'm kind of a different bird sometimes on things. Facebook is turning into a graveyard. Think about it. Over 30 million users have passed on. And a lot of times the family don't even have access to the accounts because they don't have the password.
That's right.
Just because it's all privacy, that, so they can't do anything with the account. They can't deactivate it. They can't change it. I remember back when Yahoo was in this big court battle with his family over a person's email and wanting to get in there to, get away the photos and the memories and then close the account, and they couldn't get access to it. And I don't even think that in court they want access to it. So what do y'all think about this? Because it's going to become more and more happening. Do you think that we should be, including in our will that such and such gets our digital data?
No, go ahead, love.
I absolutely do not think so. I just think that when people cross the veil, let them rest. Let their spirit rest. If they want to contact you, they'll contact you. And another thing with people posting things on their page, a lot of people, doesn't know if they're, if they've crossed or not. So this brings up another issue for me, because if somebody messages to that person and they don't know that they have crossed and it's something personal, then, that's kind of crossing the line. That's taking away their rights, even though they have crossed over the veil. I
Right.
know that sounds kind of odd, but that's just the way that I see it, because anybody that has passed on my side, if they want to contact me, they know how to do that. And I'm not going to keep their things open, because I feel that was, some of the things that are put on Facebook, especially your messages and stuff, can be very private. And
right.
I just don't think that that's right for me to delve into their personal stuff, because
right.
it's something that they may not want me to see.
Right.
So, that's my feelings on that. I just think that they should, either make an announcement, that this person has crossed, and delete the account, or I don't know. They shouldn't be on it, though, and that's just my opinion.
Right. Well, what happens after, you've crossed? Let's say you crossed unexpectedly. You didn't share your passwords with anybody. Because, like, my account's professional and private. Nobody has my passwords, not even my assistants. So what happens there? How do you, what do you do in that situation? Sonia, what's your opinion?
Well, I love history and geography and all sorts of funky archaeology and stuff like that. And maybe Facebook is our future archaeological dig for whomever is around. Like maybe a 1,000 years from now, someone will come across this Facebook thing, dig into it, and learn a bit more about our experiences, in our lives today.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of people who don't have their passwords with anyone. And and I know that it's hard to get into the Facebook if it's not you, right? If it's a family
right.
member. And I think my daughters had that when their father passed away, that they had to try and get in to close a lot of stuff, and they were not able to. So a lot of his internet stuff are probably still hanging around. Maybe there should be like a date when, if nothing's been handled on that page for a certain amount of time, that Facebook closes it. If it's been there for 5 years or so and nothing's happened, maybe, what I mean? And then,
I know what you mean.
that might be the safeguard that they use to close the graveyard, so to speak.
Yeah, to close those, hidden data, this information just sitting there. And I put myself in the position of also the family.
Mm-hmm.
If you log into Facebook and suddenly your grandmother's account is alive and well because some hacker had the ability to figure out her password was her, favorite baking cookie recipe name, what trauma is that going to cause?
Yeah. Because
all
of a sudden she's alive and she's got a credit card and all sorts of stuff.
All sorts of stuff, So I think as we become more digital, we need to start thinking about the inevitable of, okay, who do I want to take over my digital life? Who do I want to own the house? Because, example, Sonia, you're an author.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you've thought about, okay, who gets the rights to my writings? Who gets the rights to my information?
Mm-hmm.
And that can get very complicated. And if you're a content provider like I am or like Sophia or yourself is, that's something we have to include in our, I had to include in my will who is going to inherit my business and my content library.
Yeah.
So, I think it's going to become even more realer. I think it's going to become more direct, more white, more in, it's going to become more and more of a public issue, but I think it's also going to become more and more, your own family's decisions on, okay, we're going to close this account or we're going to keep this account open as a memorial. because I know some people, they keep the account as a memorial, and they'll go in and post, miss you, Mama, miss you, Grandma, miss you, Dad, that type of stuff on that Facebook page to keep the memory alive of that person. But I don't think that that's really a healthy thing immediately into grief.
That's true.
Well, you
Go
can
ahead,
do
Liz.
another page, that person's, you can name it that person's generations, or, a memorial page. It does not have to be put on the person that has crossed page.
Right.
Now, I know that on Facebook that if you do not log in for a certain amount of time, they do close off everything. You can't see pictures, you can't see posts or anything like that, but the name is still there. So it's still open for, whoever can get in there, per se. So I do know that if you don't log in for a certain area of time, that they do that, but the name still is on there.
Right, the person's name, the person's information. And if you go way back into people's timelines, because I do this sometimes when I'm looking for something that I've read or whatever, I'll go back into somebody's timeline. The people's that has crosses is still there. Their comments, that type of stuff is still there. Whereas if the account has been shut down, it would remove all that. Okay. Well, Sonia, you have a new book out. It's on affirmations. Tell us a little bit about it.
It's called Generate Happiness Through Positive Affirmations. And I teach a lot of shamanic and self-help and personal development courses over the last 20 years. And one of the things that I've noticed is that people are always talking about affirmations, but I don't think they understood truly what affirmations actually are. And so with this book, I wrote quite a few affirmations because they'd ask me, could you give me an affirmation for this? And could you give me an affirmation for that? So I compiled them all into this book. I put the affirmations in. I put a little bit of information about each subject. So there's affirmations for healthy body. There's affirmations for financial abundance, for spiritual life, I believe, and I forgot what the other one is. Yikes. Should read my book before I talk to you. But
that's all right. We enjoyed reading it. So,
oh, wonderful.
And there's a bunch of wonderful information in there, so it happens.
Yeah, thank you. So basically, the book is to give people an opportunity to kind of start generating happiness within themselves, because our planet, we're too much in the doom and gloom. We're too grumpy. And I think it's time for us to start aiming for a little bit more lightness of being, really.
And I agree.
Okay, so what is exactly a positive affirmation? I know that you said that people's heard of them, but they really are not sure of what they are. So can you kind of explain to us what a positive affirmation is? And is there anything surely there's not a negative affirmation. I think
yes,
that just
there
kind
are.
of goes. There are?
Yes.
I think that just kind of goes in the world because that's where we're at, the doom and gloom, you said.
Yeah, well, an affirmation is basically something you tell yourself. You're telling, they say, I affirm that what I'm about to say is true when you go to court, if you don't want to use the Bible in Canada. And so an affirmation is a statement that you express, usually to yourself. And most of us carry negative affirmations in that, you get up in the morning and you look in the mirror and you think, oh, my hair is terrible. Or, individuals who, at the moment, we have this health craze. So you spend 2 weeks eating lettuce, and then you crave a hamburger. So you go and you get a hamburger, and as you're eating it, you're telling yourself, your negative affirmation, you're telling yourself, this hamburger is going to kill me. So that's the negative. So the positive affirmation is basically turning that negative into a positive by saying, this will nourish my body. So, so a positive affirmation are the positive things that we say to ourselves that will actually lighten our spirits.
Now, in the book, you talk about mind talk. How, and we were talking about it here, how much of an impact does our own mind talk make?
Oh, it's actually, we are using it every moment. Every thought that goes out is a mind talk that we're having with ourselves. It's a conversation that we're having with ourselves. Sometimes we turn it around and we express it out loud. For example, so like attracts like. If you have a negative mind talk, a negative conversation with yourself, you will actually attract someone who will come into your world and treat you the way you're talking, the way you're treating yourself. Bullying is one example. A person who is bullied usually carries very low self-esteem. They tell themselves, I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough, I'm not very nice, I'm not smart. And the minute they do that, they'll either go to school and the teacher will repeat those words back to them. So the mind talk is very important for us to use it in a very positive and uplifting way for ourselves.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So you talked about some negative mind talk and also positive, but how do we switch from those negative thoughts to good thoughts so we can change the reality?
Yes. Well, there's a lot of talk about fighting the ego, and it's the ego that carries the negative mind talk. So many of us, we end up, cat o' nine tailing, flailing ourselves with the negative conversation. I'll give you a quick example. Most women who are married, to have a husband, they tend to think that their husbands don't see them. He doesn't care about what she thinks, and so on. So one Sunday, and it's my observations that's caused me to write these books, but one Sunday I was in North Vancouver in Canada, the other side over by Seattle way, and I was walking up the main street. I'd gone for my walk. I was walking home, and there was this woman dressed in turquoise, looking really pretty, and she's struggling to keep up because her husband is walking 4 paces ahead of her. He didn't slow down to give her his arm, and she's struggling, she's huffing and puffing, and she's sweating, right? And as I noticed them, I realized that she had a negative mind talk that said, he doesn't even see what I look like. I mean, it's like the wife that says, does my butt look big in this, right? So she's already got the idea that he doesn't see her. And, of course, because she has that thought, he does not see her. He walks ahead of her. So as I passed her, I whispered to her, you look gorgeous. You look beautiful. And she immediately perked up. She says, oh, thank you. And she ran up to, she called to her husband. I keep wanting to call him Abner. But anyway, she ran up to him and she said, do you know what that woman said? Do you know what that woman said? And he turned and he looked at me, put out his arm, and slowed himself down so they walked together down the street. So that's what a positive, you can just change it by that. Now, the ego will have negative conversations with you. But if you say to your ego self, instead of fighting it, you say, yes, you're right, and switch it to the positive, the ego self cannot fight with you. This is the ego's world. It will win when you fight it. But if you say, yes, you're right, if it says, oh, I've got a pimply face, for example, you say, yes, you're right, and why don't we try this to see if we can make it better? You see? And so that change in conversation will actually change, the dynamics of your energy, pretty much. I know that went on a bit long.
That's great. We're going to take a break, and we'll be back with Sonia in just a few minutes.
Awesome.
find us at www.themagichappens.com, your free online magazine.
Are you at a crossroads in your life? Or are you feeling stuck and not sure where to turn? We can help. Visit our website at psychic.biz from your computer, smartphone, or tablet, where you can get accurate readings and insight by speaking with any one of our tested advisors. We offer live chat, video sessions, one-on-one phone calls, and even email readings. We have several gifted psychics, tarot readers, astrologers, and other healers from around the world who are available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Your initial chat is always free, and our psychics do offer special prices and low per-minute rates. Visit us today at psychic.biz and get the guidance you need today for your tomorrow.
You're listening to the Magic Happens Radio Network, sponsored by the Magic Happens magazine. You'll find us at www.themagichappens.com.
So I'm a cat, and I just moved in with this new human, and she's got this little toy she's always playing with, all day long. Tap, 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 bloop, bloop. She can't put it down. There it is. Oh, and get this. She even talks to it. Last week she asked it for Chinese, and guess what? Egg rolls showed up. Like magic. Humans have cool toys.
A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet. Be that person. Adopt. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org.
Do you have burning questions you need answered? We all do. Visit our website at psychic.biz, where you can find accurate psychics, tarot readers, and astrologers from around the world who are available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can have your questions answered anonymously and right from your computer, tablet, or smartphone. The introductory chat is always free, and we offer low per-minute rates and special promotions. Our online psychics offer helpful, practical guidance into what matters most to you. Visit us today at psychic.biz.
And you'll find us at www.themagichappens.com, your free online magazine.
Hello, and we are back, and we are talking to Miss Sonia Haynes. She is an author, and she is talking to us about positive affirmations. So welcome back, Sonia.
Yes, thank you, love.
And, in your book, you also cover boundaries. Can you give us, some powerful tips for having to set your own boundaries, either on yourself or with others?
Yes. There are a lot of people who talk about shielding yourself, which a shield is kind of like a solid white light that you put around yourself. And as I said, when I talk about these things, I talk about it based on my own experience. A white light is so hard, it's like having your head up in a bell. And if you hit the bell, if someone hits the bell while your head is in it, you feel the vibration. So if you're afraid and you put a shield of white light around you, and someone comes at you, you're still going to feel the anger and the rage. And I don't know if you've been in such a situation, but, I think we all have. You walk past someone or you walk up to someone, and you're all of a sudden your whole energy starts to vibrate, and you don't know why. It's because usually we have a shield up that's hard, and their anger touches against our shield, and it's like hitting a bell. So I always suggest that you do a soft golden white light, which means that it becomes more like a balloon-type energy. So when they send an energy towards you, it bounces off, but it's so soft and tender that you don't get impacted by it, number one. Mm-hmm. Another way to set boundaries is to keep your business to yourself, we like to go around. Social media is really interesting, and what you're talking about, the women who lost their nude photos got all over the internet. When we have a thought in ourselves that we don't want someone to know something, the minute we have that thought, someone out there is going to find it. So keep your information to yourself. Don't go, sharing stuff if you don't want it to get around. Right?
I agree.
Yeah.
If you wouldn't show it to your grandmother, it doesn't need to be stored somewhere digitally.
Correct. That's right.
So
you always have a way to put things, Aeson.
Well, it's just the way I see things, honey. I still have this weird perspective because, I'm like a 17th century man trying to deal with in the 22nd century. Now, Sonia, you talked about using some shamanic techniques in your training stuff, but you also talked about, and you talk about it in your book, our thinking affects our health.
Yes.
Can you elaborate a little bit on that for us?
Yes. I teach the chakras, and if you can study your own chakras by looking at them, you can actually see any potential for health issues. So one of the challenges that are part of a big challenge in the U.S., which is affecting not just adults but children, is diabetes. And diabetes affects the power chakra. So it's the stomach, and it affects your pancreas. And usually the power chakra is about personal power. It's about powerlessness. If you don't feel powerful within yourself, you're going to end up in that energy of diabetes. That's just how it works. So, when you go to the kids who end up suffering from abuse at home or suffering from powerlessness in school, or they get bullied, those are the ones who end up dealing with such an issue, diabetes. And, of course, it makes sense. Or young people, teenagers who have to leave one school to go to another, they usually end up breaking a leg. They break their leg, they break their ankles. They usually end up going skiing or skateboarding, flip funny, and they break their legs. And again, it's because they're afraid of stepping forward into their lives. So if you have a health disorder, look at the part of your body where it's at. Go and look at the chakra chart to see which chakra that's impacting, and then use positive affirmations to shift. So you're basically telling yourself a positive truth as opposed to a negative truth about yourself, and that will actually help heal your body.
Now, what's your opinion on this one? People going around going, "Oh, I'm so brokenhearted. I'm so hurt. I'm so brokenhearted." And then they turn out and have a heart attack or a stroke.
Yes. And actually, it's scientifically proven now. Doctors just proved that women can die from a broken heart. So you're hurt so badly, and you feel that the hurt that the person did impacted you so much that you literally squeeze your heart chakra closed. And when it's closed, it's like it suffocates. And, of course, that creates heart attacks.
Right.
That's very interesting. I love that. Being in the medical field.
Yes.
Love that. Love it.
Yeah, there are a few books out there, and I know Louise Hayes does it, but if you can study the chakras, especially in the medical field, you can actually help a lot of people to reverse the physical issues that they're dealing with in that way.
Yeah, I really like that. Yeah. Sonia, are you ready to take some calls, sweetheart?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Okay, Aeson, can we get our callers on the phone? And remember, guys, one question per caller, and give us your first name and your birthday, okay? That's just the rules, so we can get everybody in.
All right. Our first one is coming from area code 509.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, I've totally been enjoying every minute of the conversation. Like, I really have been, especially, like, at the beginning, your Facebook thing. I personally had someone pass away just recently, like Sunday. And and she's kind of, like, in a situation that you kind of said. Like, yeah, so that was very, like, it just got to me. And then, like, the affirmations, too, like, that's so true. I'm working on that as well. Sometimes I'm just like, oh, you know, like, man, why didn't I get that job? I'm still not going to get that job. But now I'm just like, maybe I should just be like, oh, you know, I hope I get the job. If not, something better is going to come around, you know?
Right.
So,
Yeah.
Well, I would, you know, put it a little bit more stronger. You know, I have this job.
There
and
you
then
go.
list out what you want in the job. So what's your question for Sonia?
Oh, well, I was just wondering if he sees, like, someone new, like a new, like, romance coming about. I'm not interested
New
in
relationship. Yeah, it's interesting. Well, they're showing you going somewhere, so you're gonna, not quite yet. You've got till probably the fall before you meet someone new. But it's because you're going to end up traveling or changing location. You're going to travel somewhere, and it could be for work, but you're going to travel somewhere, and that's when you'll meet this person. And total cutie pie, like really, really nice smile, very short cut hair. His hair is not too long. He's not bald, but he's got what's the short haircut called for men? I don't know. But crew cut. There you go. Yeah. Very nice. Very, very nice young man, actually.
Oh. Okay. And is this move about like work, or is it just a vacation?
Well, I'm wondering if it's work, because I did pull 3 cards, and it says you're going somewhere, but there's also the 8 of Pentacles, which has to do with work. So you could be moving for work, and when you do, that's where you'll meet this guy. And it's an old town that you'll be moving to or going to.
Oh, okay. I just applied for an internship, but that one starts like in May. It's for DC. I'll be notified this week if I got it or not, but even then, like, I don't know, I'm excited to apply to other stuff. Like, I'm so over being negative and thinking that I'm not gonna obtain something, you know, to help my career start up. But I'm sure something will if I, like, chase enough. Right.
Yeah. Well, of course. I wrote a book on building a dream board, and that's one thing I recommend for everyone is that you start writing down everything you want, not what you don't want, because that's a negative mind chatter. Write down the positive, what you want. Be as clear as possible, including the emotional stuff, and watch it come to pass.
Cool.
Right.
All right. Well, thank you for the insight.
You're welcome, sweetie. Enjoy. Have fun.
Thank you. Have a good night, honey.
All right. So our next one is from area code 863. 863, you're on the air. 863?
Hello.
Hello.
There she is.
There I am. Sorry. It's weird because I have on my headset, and for some reason, every once in a while, it seems to affect the mic, and I don't really know why that is. I guess just a glitch in the phone. Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm here.
That's okay. So we have, honey, your birthday.
My birthday is September 16th, 1961. And my name is Julia.
Okay, Julia. And do you have a question for Sonia?
Yeah. I actually just divorced after a very long marriage, and I'd like to ask insights around healing and really being able to just release it all so that I don't carry it forward into, a future relationship. and something you guys were just talking about with the body and, how it corresponds to chakras. I've had like a chronic sinus problem, especially on my left side. And I was just curious, what's that all about? I mean, I've even gone so far as have sinus surgery to try to correct it, and it's still,
Okay.
Right.
There's something more to it because that didn't really.
Absolutely. Okay. So sinus is third eye, and third eye is seeing. So it's on the left side, which is you seeing yourself. So your self-criticism of the way that your relationship ended, because I pulled 3 cards, and the Justice card talks about the divorce, the Strength talks about the strength you have, and the 3 of Swords talks about the heartache that you experienced. But you've taken, being a Virgo, I know that because I'm one, you've taken personal responsibility for the way that your marriage ended, and regardless of what happened inside of yourself, you're not willing to see the strength that you've gained from that marriage, from the process, and it required a great deal of strength for you to have come through it and to even be calling us now. So those are the first things. You have to start by saying to yourself, I am wonderful, I am amazing, I am powerful. Using that mantra over and over again, I see myself as powerful, amazing, and wonderful. And the more you say that, if you say that 10 times in the morning, 10 times at night, you'll find your sinuses start to clear up. That's how fast it works. I mean, I've done mantras with people who, they say it and within 5 minutes they're clear. So that's how it works. So you need to let go of the responsibility you've taken for the way that this whole relationship has gone, realizing that it takes 2 to tango.
Okay. Wow. That's
okay.
Pretty spot on. Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
You're very welcome, love.
All right. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you for taking my call.
You too. My
All
pleasure.
Right, bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye, honey.
Sonia, I love your style of reading. I'll just say that because I'm picky about psychic styles, and I love how you do yours. All right, honey.
Oh, thank you.
The next caller we have, and this may be our last one, we'll see how it goes, but it's area code 412. 412, you're on the air.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Hi, my name is Keisha. Hi, my name is Keisha, and my birthday is February 3rd, 1979. And my question was, what did you see coming up for my love life?
Now, it's interesting because just as you came on, I heard, I don't know who sang the song, but I've got dreams to remember. You know that song, I've got dreams. So in the cards that I've pulled is the 7 of Cups, which is you having all these dreams that are locked up in your head about what you want. And then you have the 10 of Cups, which is you having all those dreams. So interestingly, there's a 4 of Swords as well, and the 4 of Swords talks about you literally using your mind between your dream and having what you want. You know what I mean? So every time you're about to get it, you have this thought, oh, no, I don't deserve it. And they're showing me that you've been given stuff in the past. You've been given gifts in the past, and there's one guy that you met. I'm going to say, well, they're saying 6 months, a year, so I don't know if you met him twice, but there's one person that you met whom you did not accept that person's relation in your life, that person in your life. So it's like every time you're about to have something good, it's like you throw it away, and it's time for you to start holding on to what comes in. Grab a hold of it, girl, tight. Don't let go, and go all the way on to the end. Don't let it go this time, because you've got some great stuff coming into your life.
Okay.
So the guy the relationship that I saw that was before, it opened your heart and you closed it again. So when you meet when you move into the future with new relationship as well, try and keep your heart open. I promise you, because nobody can hurt you but you. I promise you that if you can keep your heart open long enough for him to get his toe through the door, it's going to be joyful experience, because you have the My Cup Runneth Over card, which is the 10 of Cups.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
My pleasure, sweetie. Okay.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, honey. Have a great night.
Okay, so we've got just a few more minutes here, and we've got a little bit of follow-up questions for you, because I don't think we can get another caller in. Tell us about your other books.
So I wrote the Power of Money book in 1999, and it was a little chapbook that I wrote, and a chapbook is just basically you print it off. And then I wrote it again in 2003, and now it's the third printing of it. And that book talks about, we were talking about the guy who got the $100,000 from the FBI for his good deeds, and how, the idea that because he has such low self-esteem, he might give everything away. So the Power of Money book gives you an opportunity to look at your own story and there's some exercises in it to see where you fit in that abundance flow. Are you one who gives your money, your abundance away? Are you one who keeps it to yourself? Quick, I'll go through it quickly. Oneness, separation, integration, and reincarnation is about when kids ask, Mommy, where do babies come from? They don't want the sordid details. They actually want to know, does a baby come from the sky? So they're wanting to know the spiritual aspects of it. So I talk about that a bit in that book. Design the Life You Want is basically logical steps on how to build a dream board, and also the psychological aspects that you need to put into it as you're building it. So there's some exercises in that. And then we have Generate Happiness Through Positive Affirmation.
Mm-hmm.
So they're all fairly, uplifting personal development books.
And they have personal stories in them, which is what I like.
Yes.
It ain't like a textbook. It's actually like sitting down and having a conversation with you.
Yes. And I pretty much approach everything in that way. I like the conversation. I love talking to people, and so as you can tell, I don't shut up. But,
That's the good part of it, honey.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Sonia, where can we get your books at? Where can our listeners get your books?
The books are all available on Amazon.com. So if they go to Amazon.com and look up Sonia Nadina Haynes, they'll find all 4 books on Amazon. And I guess with Amazon, it's on Kindle, I guess. Balboa Press has the Power of Money book.
Mm-hmm. And that's both either Kindle or just in general. What about we do have some callers that we couldn't get in tonight, and I'm sure there's many listeners out there who wants to reach you. Where can they do that at? What's your normal office hours there?
I'm on psychic.biz. My office hours is a little bit sporadic right now because I keep forgetting to turn it on. But they can, if they send me an email, I can go on and connect with them. So go to psychic.biz and look up Sonia Nadina Haynes.
Right.
And they should find me there.
Right. And if for our listeners, we do have a special promo code. It's COFFEE, COFFEE, and that'll give them, for a $15 deposit, it gives them an additional $10 with you or with any reader on there. And the site's really easy to operate. Now, Sonia, I do chat and video chat and phone there. Do you offer phone or chat, or what type of services do you offer there?
I'm still learning how it works. At the moment, I've been doing the typing thing. I can do video chat. They just have to ask me for it. So, if that's the case, it's all the same price. So, and there is telephone. I just don't understand how it works just yet. So, but there is telephone. So if there's a way for them to contact me via telephone on psychic.biz, then I'm available.
Awesome. Okay. Well, Sonia, thank you so much for coming on. We've got to have you back when your next book comes out, which I hope you're going to be doing another one because I love your style. I really enjoyed this book. We're going to I'm going to be doing a book review on it on our YouTube channel, and I'll be sure to share that link if you guys want to, get some more in-depth information on it. Also, our YouTube channel, and you just go into YouTube and search The Psychic Coffee Shop, and you'll be able to listen to any of our shows of the past.
Yes. I have, and it's quite neat shows, actually. I like how you've done it, bringing in the outside world, so it's quite lovely.
Yes, and I love doing that. I love making them available. Also, Psychic.biz gives any new client $5 to try out any of their authentic, triple-tested psychics. And then, with promo code COFFEE, it's an extra 10. But they also have Spring 16 going on, which, if you're a new client and when you sign up, you use that code, they're going to give you an additional $5. So that's $10 out the gate before you even spend any of your money to talk with either me or Sophia. I'm on normally from noon till 2 a.m. I'm on and off as I do radio shows and different events, but I'm there. And I like the idea that Sonia has about emailing. If you want to set an appointment with me, I'll gladly accept that appointment through email and make sure that I'm available for you. Now, Sophia, your schedule's a little different sometimes. So how do you prefer your clients to connect with you?
If they need me, they can email me. Most of the time I am off for a week and then I'm on for a week just because of my other job.
Oh, we all know you got to play Lady Nightingale at least a week, and then you come back to us.
Yeah, so usually it's if I can get online, if we're not too busy at my other facility, I pop online there as well. But most of the time I'm gone at least for 4 days, but usually I am on from 3 p.m. till about 3 a.m. when I'm off.
Right. Now, Sonia, you also have another show here at Blog Talk. Tell us a little bit about your show.
Well, the guides tell me what to talk about, so I've got a store, whatever I need to talk about. Last time it was creating abundance or the power of abundance or something like that. And so I just go on and run my mouth and give a lot of information, and then people get many readings at the last 15 minutes of the show, and I tend to speed read because
what's the name of it so they can find it?
It's called Change Your Mind, Shift Your Life Talk Radio.
Okay, like it.
Well, thank you for joining us, Sonia. Good night. And good night,
Thank
Sophia.
You, love.
Sonia.
Thank
good
you,
night.
Sophia. My pleasure. Good night.
Good night, Aeson.
Good night, Sophia.
Are you at a crossroads in your life? Or are you feeling stuck and not sure where to turn? We can help. Visit our website at psychic.biz from your computer, smartphone, or tablet, where you can get accurate readings and insight by speaking with any one of our tested advisors. We offer live chat, video sessions, one-on-one phone calls, and even email readings. We have several gifted psychics, tarot readers, astrologers, and other healers from around the world who are available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Your initial chat is always free, and our psychics do offer special prices and low per-minute rates. Visit us today at psychic.biz and get the guidance you need today for your tomorrow.
You're listening to the Magic Happens Radio Network, sponsored by the Magic Happens magazine. You'll find us at www.themagichappens.com.